William was a brilliant horseman, and like all my royal ancestors, he practically lived on one, both out hunting and leading his troops into battle. So here I am, William the Conqueror, powerful man, and it's time now to jump on an horse, because that's how I roll, Norman style. I'm meeting Steve, who can teach me to ride like a Norman, which means holding the reins with one hand so I can get tooled up with the other.
Oh, perfect.
Big, ain't they?
They're quite small in this period.
Oh.
This is your status symbol, this is your Ferrari.
Is he getting the hump?
No, he's fine. Say all the time, nice and proud. That's good.
And this get-up I've got on now is obviously for hunting, is it? And just for
just
bowling about. When I
yeah.
go into battle, I'd have the proper armour on, wouldn't I?
You'd have these undergarments and mail armour over the top.
OK. Would the horse have no armour, you know, if you're going into battle?
All they would have is what is called a caparison, which is your colours, which denotes who you are on the battlefield. They may want to capture you and ransom you rather than kill you if you've got lots of money. So,
of course.
So your
William was Keiko Bako, wasn't he?
Exactly. Yeah. So his caparison and his standard that followed him everywhere would literally save his life, because they wouldn't want to kill him. They'd want to take him away and sell him back.
Should we go and get messy?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go and get some weapons and
speared up and
then see what we can do.
Chopping some nuts off, eh?
That's it.
Right, coming in, Anglo-Saxon. Do you want a bit of me? Oh, fuck.
It's perfect.
I've had no experience, and you get on it, and you do feel a bit powerless when actually you've got to be in control of the whole thing. So, you know, I had a little moment when I got up there, but I did think it's important that I experience it, because back in the day, that's what it was all about. Everyone was on an horse, you know, and it was their form of transport. It was a status, all these things.
What we do is we'll be slippery with a watermelon. We'll walk past as if we're not going to do nothing, and then...
I've got to say, I'm glad I've done it. I feel really proud of myself, you know, and I think that William would have been proud of me.
I, Danny Dyer, 30 times great-grandson of William the Conqueror, has got the hump with an Anglo-Saxon watermelon, and it's going to get it. What's the matter? You want some? Get hold of that. That's how we roll in the Norman times. Don't forget it.
The Normans bred powerful war horses in France, so valuable on the battlefield that William sailed 2,000 of them over to England in 1066. An expert horseman, William was also a keen hunter who introduced the forest law, making huge areas of land royal that only he could hunt on. Well, I can ride and I can slaughter fruit and veg, but how good will I be at catching an animal? I'm with Naomi to help me understand the carnage.
Naomi, here we are in the medieval woodlands, shall we say. I ain't got an horse. Where is it?
Well, you were fabulous on the horse, but people didn't just hunt on horseback. They also hunted on foot.
Even William?
Yeah, you know, at some point he would have jumped off his horse, bows and arrows, and certainly he would need to have learnt how to shoot bows and arrows on foot. So that's kind of what we're going to have to do with you.
And any particular animal? Would have been the deer, would it?
Yeah, it's going to be the red deer. There were some really important rituals that went with the butchery of the deer. They were called the unmaking rituals. So once you had actually killed your deer, you would roll it onto its back and dig the antlers into the ground to kind of like steady it. Then you'd split it from the chin to its genitals, whip them off, tie them on a stick, parade them round a bit.
Wow.
And very particular bits of the deer go to particular people. You're the lord, you're the king, you get the best bits, the haunches. But whilst the king would be getting the haunches, people lower down the pecking order would get something called the numbles. These are the intestines, and because they don't look very tasty, you bake them into a pie. So that's where the origins of eating humble pie, eating numble pie comes from, because it's the low status associated with eating the intestines. And there are lots of people who are involved in the hunt. The hunters and the foresters, they're dressed in green, kind of like Robin Hood and his merry men, as you'd imagine. But the lords are always dressed in the pinks and the purples, like what you're wearing at the moment. So you're very clearly the man in charge of the hunt, and you'd be the one who would have to do all of this butchery. Are you up for that?
No, I'm not going to be doing that, am I? Oh, fuck for that.
I think we're out of season, so you're okay.
Now for a man who can teach me how to shoot me bolts and stalk me prey.
Gordon.
Danny.
Pleasure.
Nice to meet you.
Absolute pleasure. So, here we are in the middle of the woods. It's always nice to meet another man in the middle of the woods.
Well, there you go.
Wow.
You need some kit. That's your bow.
OK, that's my old bow, yeah. Nice. Long, isn't it? Hence the name.
The term longbow, yes.
Yeah.
Knocking, the arrow goes onto the bow.
OK.
One finger above
Yeah.
and two below. You're effectively locked and loaded. Only look where you want it to hit.
OK.
Further, further, further. Now let go. There we go.
Oh, get hold of that.
There we go.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Let's fire another one off then, eh?
Shoot.
Shoot another one off.
There's no gunpowder
Of course
involved, there's
there
no
ain't,
firing. Look where you wanted to go. There we go. Yes. And that is quite a small target.
Any Anglo-Saxons knocking about? So, Gordon, we're on the mooch, yeah?
Well, the skills of a Norman lord, hunting isn't just about fun. It is fun for them, but what it is, it goes to their primary purpose, which is preparation for war. Hunting with horses and hounds against wild boar obviously gives you some bottle, but this stalking prepares the more subtle skills.
Being a bit more cunning, a bit more stealth.
And your top-line prey here is a stag, a red stag. That is the epitome of hunting in the eyes of a Norman lord. Yeah. We've got a deer over there, but we're far too far away, and there's too much clobber in the way. So we need to work our way towards it. Now, this thing has got senses like you wouldn't believe. 10 of his mates have seen you before you've even seen it. Okay, so we have to work our way using the cover and being as quiet as we can.
OK.
So, we're going to use the natural cover of this. Now, when you appear from behind cover, you need to get your eyes round first. Make sure it's the first thing that gets round. Ascertain that it's still there and it hasn't been spooked before you move off again. So we've used about all the available cover, but we still have a bit of distance to go. And one thing we can do is to utilise some Norman camouflage by clamping that between your teeth. And what that does is break up the shape of your face.
Does a bit, doesn't it? Yeah. Tastes lovely, doesn't it?
Right, it's all yours.
Slowly.
Draw up and take your shot.
He's a big old boy, isn't he?
Focus on where you want to be. All the way back.
I've caught him right in the windpipe. I think it's time that we feast.
No, get down. Because this isn't a rifle. It's not going to fall over dead. It's dying, but it doesn't know it's dying yet. So if you rush forward, adrenaline is going to carry it off into the next county and you'll never see it again. So you stay doggo. It, if it doesn't see you, will then lie down, settle after a while, bleed out and die. And of course, then you've got the butchery, which is another of your military skills. Because what it's going to do is it inures you to the blood and the gore of battle.
Still a nice little shot, that, though, wasn't it?
Lovely.
I'm happy.
William, a very important king for many, many reasons. You know, he was battle-hardened. He won everything. The ultimate fighter and leader.
It's very difficult, isn't it? You know, going back to the 11th century and understanding the way they lived with, you know, the idea of these weapons that he used, you know, that he was an expert at. So I'm glad I've learnt about him. Now I've got a real sense of him, and I love him. Lovely. I better go and give this crossbow back. The geezer's looking at me funny.